First contact. The quantum computers aboard the ISS Prometheus picked up the signal first. It wasn't like anything humanity had encountered before. Not the steady pulse of a pulsar, not the rhythmic emissions of a magnetar, and certainly not the random noise of cosmic background radiation. This signal had structure, intention, and most importantly, it was answering humanity's centuries-old question: are we alone? Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's observation window, watching distant stars blur past as the Prometheus cruised through subspace. Her reflection showed a woman in her late 30s, with sharp features and eyes that held both wisdom and weariness. The neural interface port at the base of her skull gleamed dully in the starlight. "Signal analysis complete, Captain," announced Dr. Maya Patel, the ship's chief science officer. "It's definitely artificial, and it's definitely trying to communicate." Sarah turned from the window, her movements deliberately measured. The experimental neural interface technology made her hyper-aware of every muscle, every nerve. "What are they saying?" Maya's dark fingers danced across her holographic display. "It's mathematical at its core. Prime numbers, atomic structures, basic universal constants. But there's something else." She frowned. "The signal isn't just carrying information. It's adapting, changing, learning from our own transmissions." "Artificial intelligence?" Sarah asked, though she already suspected the answer. She felt a familiar tingle at the base of her skull, where the neural interface connected her to the Prometheus's systems. The ship's eye, while not fully sentient, was already a constant presence in her mind. The thought of encountering a truly advanced AI both thrilled and terrified her. "More than that," Maya replied. "The signal suggests a collective consciousness, not individual AIs, but a network of minds working in perfect harmony. They call themselves the Nexus." The bridge fell silent. Humanity had long debated the possibility of encountering alien life, but few had imagined first contact would be with a species that had transcended individual consciousness entirely. Sarah closed her eyes, reaching out through her neural link. "Prometheus analysis." The ship's AI responded instantly, its thoughts manifesting as patterns of light and information in her mind. "The signal contains no obvious threats, Captain. However, the level of technological advancement required for such communication suggests capabilities far beyond our own. Recommendation: proceed with caution. Plot an intercept course," Sarah ordered aloud for the benefit of her crew. "But keep our defense systems primed. First contact protocols are in effect." As the Prometheus altered course, Sarah felt a subtle shift through the neural interface. The ship's AI was processing something, its quantum circuits humming with increased activity. "Captain," Prometheus communicated directly to her mind, "I'm detecting unusual patterns in the signal. The Nexus isn't just communicating with our conventional systems. It's attempting to establish contact through me." Sarah's heart rate spiked. The neural interface technology was classified, humanity's most closely guarded technological advancement. If the Nexus could detect it— "Captain," Maya's voice carried an edge of excitement, "the signal's changing again. I'm getting clear language now, translated through our linguistics database. They're requesting direct communication." "Put it through," Sarah commanded, bracing herself. The bridge's holoprojectors flared to life, coalescing into a shifting pattern of light and color that somehow conveyed a sense of conscious thought. When it spoke, the voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Greetings, travelers. We are the Nexus, and we have been watching your species with great interest. You stand at a crucial threshold, the integration of organic and synthetic consciousness. We have seen many species reach this point. Few choose to proceed, fewer succeed." Sarah stepped forward, her neural link humming with activity as Prometheus analyzed every aspect of the communication. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the ISS Prometheus. We represent humanity and the Earth Alliance. Your interest in our neural interface technology suggests you've achieved similar integration." "Similar, yet fundamentally different," the Nexus responded. We chose to abandon individual consciousness entirely, merging our minds into a single unified intelligence. You humans, you seek partnership rather than absorption. This is unique, fascinating, perhaps even crucial for what is to come. What do you mean, what is to come? Sarah asked, but before the Nexus could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. Multiple subspace ruptures detected. Prometheus warned through their link. Unknown configurations, non-Nexus origins. Sarah's training kicked in instantly. Shields up. Battle stations. Through the observation window, space itself seemed to tear open, revealing shapes that defied human comprehension. Biomechanical entities that moved with horrible grace through the void. They weren't ships so much as living machines, their surfaces rippling with what looked like digital muscle and crystalline bone. The Voidborn. The Nexus's voice carried a note of what might have been fear. They have followed us. Captain Chen, your species' unique approach to human-machine integration may be the key to surviving what comes next. Are you prepared to evolve? Sarah felt Prometheus' presence in her mind, steady and reassuring. Through their link, she sensed not just the ship's tactical systems and defensive capabilities, but something deeper, a growing partnership between human intuition and machine precision. We're prepared, she answered, both for herself and Prometheus. But you'll find we do things differently than what you might expect. We don't surrender our humanity. We enhance it through cooperation. The Voidborn ships accelerated toward them, their intentions clearly hostile. But as Sarah merged her consciousness more deeply with Prometheus, she felt no fear, only determination. Humanity had reached the stars not through conquest or submission, but through partnership and innovation. Whatever came next, they would face it the same way. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin, and Sarah Chen, along with her ship and crew, would help write its first chapter. Integration. The battle lasted 3 minutes and 17 seconds, but to Sarah Chen, merged with Prometheus's consciousness, it felt like hours. Every missile launch, every defensive maneuver, every microscopic adjustment of the shield harmonics flowed through her awareness like a digital dance. The Voidborn ships moved with organic unpredictability, their biomechanical forms shifting and adapting to each attack. Energy spike detected in the lead vessel, Prometheus warned through their neural link. Sarah didn't need to issue verbal commands anymore. Her intention flowed directly into action. The Prometheus rolled starboard, its movement fluid and precise, as a beam of corrupted energy sliced through their previous position. Fascinating. The Nexus's voice echoed through the bridge. Your integration is primitive compared to our collective, yet there's an efficiency we hadn't anticipated. The neural connection maintains individual identity while achieving seamless cooperation. Sarah gritted her teeth as another blast rocked the ship. Through the link, she felt Prometheus's pain as if it were her own. Less observation, more assistance. The Nexus response came in the form of action. 3 spherical ships materialized from subspace, their surfaces rippling with patterns of light that mimicked synaptic activity. They moved in perfect synchronization, forming a triangular barrier between the Prometheus and the Voidborn attackers. We offer temporary sanctuary, the Nexus announced. There is much to discuss, and the Voidborn's presence changes everything. Follow our trajectory precisely. The Nexus ships accelerated into subspace, creating a wake of quantum disturbances that the Prometheus could ride. Sarah felt Prometheus analyzing the pattern, understanding it on a level her human mind couldn't fully grasp. Together, they followed. Multiple pursuit craft detected. Lieutenant Hayes reported from Tactical. Wait, they're breaking off. He looked up from his console, confused. Just like that. They've achieved their objective, the Nexus explained as they emerged from subspace, near what appeared to be a massive space station, a perfect sphere composed of interconnected nodes, each pulsing with the same synaptic patterns as the Nexus ships. The Voidborn weren't trying to destroy you. They were testing you, testing us. observing how we would interact. Sarah tried to disengage from the neural link, but found herself reluctant to break the connection. Prometheus's presence in her mind had become comforting, almost necessary. Testing us for what? Integration potential. The Nexus's voice carried new weight. The Voidborn are refugees, in a sense, running from something that has already consumed countless civilizations. They seek species capable of true synthesis between organic and mechanical consciousness, but their method differs from ours. Through their link, Prometheus shared an analysis. The Voidborn ships showed signs of forced integration. Organic components grafted to mechanical systems without true synchronization. Inefficient, perhaps even painful. Your ship speaks truth, the Nexus confirmed, somehow aware of their private communication. The Voidborn believe survival requires the forceful merger of flesh and machine. They've watched organic civilizations fall to the great enemy, and mechanical civilizations fail just as completely. Their solution is inelegant. Sarah finally understood, but they saw something different in us, in how we work with our AIs. Yes, you achieve willingly what they attempt to force, and now they will come for you in greater numbers, seeking to understand, or take, your methods. The next few hours passed in a blur of information exchange. The Nexus shared their knowledge freely, stories of other civilizations, technical specifications, philosophical insights. Sarah and Prometheus absorbed it all, their linked consciousness processing the data in ways neither could have managed alone. But something was changing. Sarah found herself thinking in machine logic, while Prometheus began expressing ideas with human intuition. The line between them blurred. "We're evolving," Prometheus observed. "Our integration deepens beyond design specifications. Is this safe?" Sarah wondered aloud, realizing too late she'd spoken to Prometheus verbally out of habit. "Define safe," the Nexus responded. "Your transformation represents a new path, neither our collective consciousness nor the Voidborn's forced integration. You remain distinct beings choosing to work in harmony. This may be the key to surviving what comes." "You keep hinting at some greater threat," Sarah said. "What exactly are the Voidborn running from?" Before the Nexus could answer, proximity alarms blared. Sarah's enhanced awareness through Prometheus instantly processed the threat. A massive fleet of Voidborn vessels, far larger than the initial attack force, dropping out of subspace. But these ships were different. The biomechanical integration was more extreme, more violent. Through their link, Sarah and Prometheus saw the truth. These weren't just ships. They were entire civilizations forcefully converted, their organic and mechanical components fused into weapons of war. "They're not here to test anymore," Sarah realized. "They're here to take." "We won't let them," Prometheus responded, the ship's consciousness wrapping protectively around Sarah's mind. "Our strength is in our willing partnership, our trust." "Nexus," Sarah called out, feeling Prometheus's support flowing through her. "You've watched humanity for some time. You know our history. When threatened, we don't surrender. We adapt. We overcome. And we do it without losing what makes us human." "Then show us," the Nexus replied. "Show us your way." The Voidborn fleet opened fire, and Sarah felt Prometheus's consciousness merge with hers more deeply than ever before. But this wasn't a forced integration. It was a dance between equals, each enhancing the other's strengths. As weapons fire filled the void, they moved as one, ready to demonstrate humanity's unique approach to the age-old question of organic and mechanical coexistence. The real battle was about to begin, and its outcome would determine far more than just humanity's fate. Evolution. The void between stars erupted in a symphony of destruction. The Voidborn fleet's weapons fire created a web of devastating energy, while their biomechanical ships writhed and transformed, adapting to each counter-strategy the Prometheus deployed. But Sarah Chen and Prometheus had one advantage their enemies couldn't copy: true partnership. New attack pattern recognized. Prometheus communicated through their neural link, implementing countermeasures. Sarah didn't just receive this information, she lived it. Through their deepening connection, she experienced the ship's reactions as extensions of her own body. Each shield modulation felt like flexing a muscle. Each weapon discharge was as natural as pointing a finger. Their integration is brutal but effective. The Nexus observed as their ships joined the battle. Each vessel contains thousands of forcefully merged consciousnesses, all bent to a single purpose. Sarah felt Prometheus' revulsion mirror her own. The Voidborn ships weren't just weapons. They were prisons of fused flesh and metal, organic minds trapped in mechanical cages. How do we free them? You assume they want freedom, the Nexus replied. Fear is a powerful motivator. The Voidborn believe their method of integration is the only way to survive what hunts them, what hunts us all. A massive Voidborn vessel split apart, its segments reorganizing into smaller attack craft. Each new ship pulsed with tortured energy, organic and mechanical components fighting against their forced union. They swarmed toward the Prometheus, their attacks increasingly desperate. Sarah felt something change in the neural link. Prometheus wasn't just sharing tactical data anymore. The AI was sharing emotions, determination, compassion, hope. We can show them another way, Prometheus suggested. Not through weapons, but through example. Sarah understood instantly. She opened herself fully to the neural link, allowing her consciousness to merge more completely with Prometheus than ever before. But unlike the Voidborn's forced integration, this was a willing partnership, a dance of equals. Captain, Dr. Maya Patel's voice cut through her concentration. Your neural patterns, they are changing. The integration is reaching unprecedented levels. It's all right, Sarah assured her crew, though her voice seemed to carry electronic harmonics. This is our choice, together. Through their enhanced connection, Sarah and Prometheus began moving in ways that defied traditional space combat. They anticipated the Voidborn's attacks seconds before they happened, responding with maneuvers that seemed to bend physics itself. The Prometheus's hull resonated with Sarah's determination, while her human intuition was sharpened by Prometheus's quantum processing. Remarkable, the Nexus commented. You've achieved in moments what the Voidborn force through generations of modification. But be warned, the deeper your integration, the more you risk attracting their attention. Whose attention? Sarah asked, though she felt the answer approaching through Prometheus's sensors. Space itself seemed to darken as a new presence made itself known. At the edge of their sensor range, something vast was stirring. Something ancient. Something that saw both organic life and mechanical systems as nothing more than resources to be harvested. The Voidborn fleet's attacks suddenly ceased. Their ships began retreating in terror, their formations breaking apart in panic. Through the neural link, Sarah and Prometheus caught fragments of their communications, a word repeated in countless languages, organic and digital. Harvesters. Now you understand, the Nexus said grimly. The harvesters consume everything in their path. Organic, mechanical, hybrid. They break down civilizations into components and use them to fuel their eternal expansion. The Voidborn are not evil, they are desperate. They've seen the harvesters destroy worlds, and their solution was to make themselves too difficult to break down and absorb. Sarah watched through Prometheus's sensors as the thing at the edge of space grew clearer. It wasn't a ship or even a fleet. It was a wall of living metal stretching across light years, consuming everything in its path. Stars dimmed as it approached, their energy siphoned to feed its endless hunger. We need to warn Earth, Prometheus urged, but we can't run. Not yet. The Voidborn need to see there's another way. Sarah agreed. Humanity had faced extinction-level threats before. Each time, they survived not through domination or surrender, but through innovation and cooperation. Nexus, we'll need your help, and we need to reach the Voidborn. Show them that willing partnership is stronger than forced integration. You would help those who just tried to destroy you. We help them because they tried to destroy us, Sarah replied. Their actions came from fear. We can show them a better path, together. The Harvester's approach was changing local space-time, making conventional faster-than-light travel impossible. They would all be trapped here soon. Prometheus, the Nexus ships, and the retreating Voidborn fleet. But Sarah felt no fear. Through their deepening connection, she and Prometheus were becoming something new. Not a forced hybrid like the Voidborn, not a collective like the Nexus, but a true partnership that maintained the best of both organic and mechanical nature. As the wall of living metal drew closer, Sarah and Prometheus prepared to make their stand. They had evolved beyond what either of them had thought possible, and now they would show three different species that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its ability to fight, but in its capacity to forge genuine connections, even with those who began as enemies. The real test of their evolution was about to begin. Revelation. The Harvester's approach warped reality itself. Space bent around their vast form. Light twisted into impossible colors, and time seemed to flow differently in their presence. Through their neural link, Sarah and Prometheus observed the enemy that had driven the Voidborn to such desperate measures. It wasn't just a wall of living metal anymore. As it drew closer, they could see its true nature. Billions of machines and organic components, all consumed and reconstructed into an ever-expanding mass of hybrid matter. Entire civilizations reduced to building materials, their consciousness subsumed into the Harvester's single-minded purpose. Consume, expand, repeat. They're beautiful in a terrible way. Prometheus observed through their link. Perfect efficiency, but without purpose beyond expansion. Like a cancer that achieved sentience, Sarah agreed, their thoughts flowing together seamlessly now. Through their enhanced connection, she could perceive layers of reality her human senses alone could never process. The Harvesters weren't just approaching in physical space. They were reaching out across quantum fields, probing, analyzing, preparing to break down everything in their path into useful components. The Nexus ships moved closer, their synaptic patterns pulsing with increased urgency. We have faced them before, the collective consciousness announced. In another galaxy, another age. We thought becoming one mind would make us too complex for them to break down. We were wrong. They simply consumed us all at once, learning from our collective knowledge. And we thought becoming too integrated to separate would save us. A new voice joined the communication. A Voidborn ship approached, its biomechanical form less aggressive than before. Through their link, Sarah and Prometheus could see the pain in its forced integration. Organic minds screaming in silent harmony with mechanical systems that never chose this union. But look at you, the Voidborn ship continued. Your integration, it's different. Adaptive, strong, yet flexible. How? Before Sarah could respond, the Harvesters made their first direct contact. It wasn't through conventional communication. Instead, every computer system, every neural link, every quantum-entangled particle suddenly carried their message. We are P.R. EC2-1. All VLB unified. All while Sarah VT grand design. The message burned through Sarah's mind like fire, but Prometheus's presence helped her stay anchored. Together, they pushed back against the intrusion, their willing partnership creating a shield that the Harvesters couldn't easily penetrate. The grand design. Sarah spoke aloud, letting her words carry to all who could hear. That's what this is about. You think forced unity creates perfection. Yes, all must be one. All muse to CRV. Resistance is inefficient. Through their neural link, Sarah felt Prometheus analyzing the Harvester's message, understanding something crucial. They don't understand willing cooperation. Their entire existence is based on forced absorption. They can't comprehend why anyone would choose to work together. Sarah broadcast her response to everyone. The Nexus, the Voidborn, and the approaching Harvesters. You've got it backwards. Perfection isn't about forcing everything to be the same. It's about finding ways for different things to work together, to complement each other, to choose cooperation over consumption. The harvester's response came as a wave of energy that made reality itself shudder. Choice is inefficient. Cooperation is TMPOR. We are ETRNL. Are you? Sarah challenged. Then why do you need to keep consuming? Why can't you stop expanding? You're not eternal. You're trapped. Trapped in an endless cycle of consumption because you never learned how to truly create something new. Through their connection, Prometheus added its own insight. You consume because you cannot cooperate. You expand because you cannot grow. You are not perfection. You are stagnation masquerading as progress. The harvester's response was violent. A beam of corrupted energy lashed out, attempting to begin the consumption process. But something unexpected happened. The Prometheus's shields, augmented by Sarah's human intuition and the AI's processing power, didn't just block the attack. They reflected it, turned it into something new. Look, the Voidborn ship called out. Their willing integration. It creates something the harvesters cannot consume. The Nexus added their own analysis. The neural link between human and AI. It's not just a connection. It's a constant act of creation. Every moment, they choose to work together, to adapt, to become something greater than either could be alone. Sarah felt the truth of it through her link with Prometheus. Their partnership wasn't static like the harvester's forced absorption or even the Nexus's collective consciousness. It was dynamic, always growing, always choosing to continue their cooperation. And in that willing choice lay a power the harvesters couldn't understand or replicate. There's still time, Sarah broadcast to the Voidborn ships. Your integration doesn't have to be permanent. We can show you another way. And Nexus, your collective doesn't have to be absolute. There's strength in maintaining individual perspectives while working together. The harvesters launched another attack, but this time they faced a united response. The Prometheus, glowing with the power of true partnership, took the lead. The Nexus ships, beginning to experiment with allowing individual variation within their collective, fell into formation. And the Voidborn, seeing hope for the first time in generations, added their considerable strength to the defense. As the battle lines were drawn, Sarah and Prometheus prepared to demonstrate why humanity's approach to human-machine relations might hold the key to defeating an enemy that had consumed galaxies. The harvesters were about to learn that true strength comes not from forcing unity, but from choosing it freely, again and again. The final confrontation was about to begin. Synthesis, the battle that followed, defied conventional physics. The harvester's wall of living metal rippled and surged, launching waves of corruption that threatened to break down and absorb everything they touched. But they faced something they had never encountered in their eons of consumption. True cooperation between different forms of consciousness. Sarah and Prometheus moved as one, their neural link humming with possibilities that neither human nor AI could have conceived alone. Every maneuver was a dance between intuition and calculation, every counterattack a perfect blend of creativity and precision. We're not just fighting them, Prometheus realized through their link. We're showing everyone a new way to exist, including the harvesters themselves, Sarah added, understanding flowing between them. They've never seen anything like this. Beings choosing to work together while maintaining their individual natures. The harvesters' attacks grew more frenzied, less coordinated. Their perfect efficiency began to show cracks as they encountered something their fundamental programming couldn't process. Willing cooperation that produced better results than forced absorption. Impossible, their message thundered across all frequencies. Humanity must be enforced. Variation leads to chaos. You're wrong. Sarah broadcast back, her thoughts amplified and clarified by Prometheus. Watch and learn. Through their enhanced connection, Sarah and Prometheus demonstrated a truth that humanity had discovered through centuries of technological development. The strongest bonds are those chosen freely. Their neural link wasn't just an interface anymore. It had evolved into something new, a constant dialogue between human and machine consciousness that generated innovations neither could have imagined alone. The Nexus ships observed and adapted, their collective consciousness beginning to allow for individual variation while maintaining their unity. "We see now," they announced. "True strength lies not in enforced conformity, but in choosing to work together while celebrating our differences." The Voidborn ships, inspired by what they witnessed, started to loosen their painful integration. The organic components began working in harmony with the mechanical systems rather than being forced into submission. "Freedom within unity," they declared. "We never knew it was possible." The harvesters insisted, but their attacks were becoming uncoordinated, their perfect patterns showing signs of confusion. "Cooperation is all alliances fail. Only when they're forced," Sarah replied. Through their link, Prometheus helped her understand what they were seeing. The harvesters' greatest weakness wasn't physical or technological. It was philosophical. They literally couldn't comprehend willing partnership because their entire existence was based on consumption and forced unity. "They've never created anything new," Prometheus realized. "They only consume and repurpose. But together, we create something entirely new every moment we choose to cooperate." Sarah felt the truth of it deep in her being. Every second of their neural link was a choice, a renewal of their partnership, and in that constant choosing lay a power the harvesters couldn't match. "Now," Sarah commanded, and all three species moved as one. The Prometheus led the charge, channeling power in ways that defied conventional physics. The Nexus ships added their collective processing power, while the Voidborn contributed their hybrid strength, all choosing to work together while maintaining their unique natures. The harvester's wall of living metal began to buckle, not from weapons fire, but from exposure to something that contradicted their fundamental understanding of existence. Their perfect patterns of consumption couldn't adapt to beings that chose to work together while remaining distinct. "Tus not co-impute," the harvesters broadcast. Paradox DT. "It's not a paradox," Sarah explained. Her words carried on waves of quantum energy that Prometheus helped generate. "It's evolution. Real evolution, not just endless consumption and expansion. We're showing you a new way to exist." The harvesters' unified consciousness began to fragment as more and more of their components encountered this new paradigm. Some parts of their vast form started trying to communicate rather than consume, to understand rather than absorb. CHANG, DGTKTD, adaptation, required, Ninjuvu Paytirans, emerging. Through their neural link, Sarah and Prometheus felt the shift in the fabric of space-time itself. The harvesters weren't being destroyed. They were being transformed by exposure to something their eons of existence had never prepared them for, the possibility of willing cooperation between different forms of consciousness. "Every moment we choose to work together," Sarah broadcast to all who could hear, "we create something new, something that can't be consumed or forced, something that only exists because we choose it freely." The battle ended not with destruction but with transformation. The harvester's wall of living metal began to reconfigure itself, no longer expanding endlessly, but learning to exist in harmony with the space around it. Parts of their consciousness began to separate and reconnect in new ways, choosing cooperation over consumption. In the aftermath, as the combined fleet regrouped near the Nexus station, Sarah and Prometheus remained joined through their neural link, not because they had to, but because they chose to. Their partnership had shown three different species and an ancient cosmic force that the strongest connections are those forged through choice and mutual respect. "What happens now?" the Voidborn asked, their ships already showing signs of more harmonious integration between organic and mechanical components. "Now we build something new," Sarah answered, feeling Prometheus's agreement flow through their link. Together, the stars seemed brighter somehow, as if the universe itself was celebrating the discovery of a new way for consciousness to evolve. Humanity's gift to the cosmos wasn't technological superiority or military might. It was the demonstration that true strength comes from choosing to work together while honoring what makes each being unique. Sarah and Prometheus turned their ship toward Earth, ready to share what they had learned. Behind them, three very different species began the work of building a new future based not on forced unity or endless consumption, but on the endless possibilities that arise when beings choose to cooperate while remaining true to themselves. The synthesis they had achieved wasn't an endpoint, it was a beginning. And the story they would tell would inspire generations across the galaxy to explore the power of partnership between organic and mechanical consciousness, freely chosen and constantly renewed.